Hello everyone, welcome back for your daily dose of serotonin. This is part 11 of Lost in Orbit titled Table for Two. Enjoy! You're acting like we've sentenced you to eternal awkward breakfast purgatory. Kaede rolls her eyes, back hunched as she scours the floor for her shoes. You have. The sheets ruffle with your restless tossing. Where did you even get the audacity to ask him stuff like this? You groan. Not only has Amira enlightened you about your 2-week extended stay, but Kaede has taken it upon herself to arrange a casual breakfast with none other than Senku, whom you've barely seen for almost 2 days since your chaotic chemistry in the dark challenge. A mastermind never reveals her secrets, Kaede chirps. Amira sweeps through the room with quiet efficiency, removing any stray socks and muttering about Kaede's hurricane habits. Humid warmth hangs around them, heavy with the scent of floral body wash and fresh skin. With an upright motion, Kaede almost blinds you with a vicious wet hair whip. Just as you blink away the blur, a stray pillow is thrown in your direction. Plus, if we hadn't ambushed you, you'd still be snoring your way to La La Land instead of eating breakfast, Amira says, half scolding. You slump further into the mattress. It's the kind of comfort that traps you, body melting into pristine cotton clouds. You planned on doing nothing and letting the sun crawl lazily across your blanket fortress until noon. The day was supposed to unfold like a lazy movie montage. Blankets, half-open blinds, maybe a slow scroll through some science blogs. But no. Your villains had other plans. Just because you guys have important stuff to attend doesn't mean I have to do the same, you yawn. It's breakfast with your man, Amira deadpans, not asking for his hand in marriage. Yeah, act natural. Kaede's weight crashes onto your chest. She wraps her arms tight around you, nuzzling her cheek against yours with a satisfied hum. You know, like a human. Ask him questions, get to know him, she says soothingly, like it's the most natural thing in the world. She's peeled off of you forcefully, before blowing you an abundance of kisses as she's dragged out of the door. Amira pauses before popping her head through the door crack. And please make sure you eat a balanced breakfast, she pleads. You respond with a long, pillow-muffled groan, the kind that sounds like surrender. And with a soft click, the door shuts. The curtains sway from the aftermath, leaving you in a soft morning stillness that feels too loud. Their chatter fades along the hall, replaced by the faint tick of wind-tapped leaves against the window. Your book, the battered copy of Space Guide for Dummies, sits loyally on the nightstand. Bringing it along feels like the logical option. This way, you can avoid any possible awkward interaction, because not only will your eyes be busy, but your mind will be too distracted to spiral. With zero enthusiasm, you throw the covers off. They didn't mention time, and it would be rude to keep him waiting. After getting ready, you almost spend too much time going over yourself in the mirror. You're practicing your posture, checking that it's not too slouched or too rigid, making sure that your smile is small, polite. Eyes fixed forward, allowing you to let out a nonchalant, "Hey." You almost cringe. It's just breakfast, not a thesis defense or a conference presentation of your skills. You are not gonna embarrass yourself, you repeat. Each step down the hallway reels you closer to the aroma of roasted coffee beans and burnt toast. Today might just be the first time you wish these hallways were longer. The cafeteria hums with the low buzz of morning voices and the sharp hiss of milk foam. Your shoulders crinkle more than they should, forehead wrinkled by your brows drawn tight with nerves. You are not going to embarrass yourself, you repeat. Nervous habits take over, and your fingers fidget behind your back, seeking a hand that isn't there. There's no Kaede to tug you forward this time, no Amira to scan the cafeteria for a perfect table. But it's fine. No one's looking, so nobody noticed that. You spot him almost instantly. That mop of gravity-defying white-green hair impossible to miss. He's lazily scribbling in a notebook, lab coat still on like he's allergic to normal clothes. When his head tilts in greeting, your steps stutter halfway through the aisle, colliding your hip into the corner of a table. You do a stiff little wave. Good morning? Morning, he says, flat but faintly amused. It isn't long before you both fall into sequence. Trays clinking, hands fumbling for the same condiments, and shoulders brushing more than once. He angles the serving spoons towards you, a silent offer to go first. And in fear of Amira hunting you down with a nutrition lecture, you make sure the tray looks balanced enough to pass inspection. He loads his tray with eggs, toast, and whatever protein looks vaguely edible, before drowning it all in a mountain of ramen. Didn't think you'd bring homework to breakfast, he says, when he spots the corner of your book tucked under your arm. You try angling the book out of his view, like it's a guilty pleasure you weren't supposed to bring in public. Just some early morning enrichment. He hums. Mind if I pick your brain? One question leads to another. First about the book, then about theories, then about time dilation and the things that bend it. Before long, your tray's half empty, his coffee's gone cold, and you're both knee-deep into black holes. Well, in theory, if you orbit close enough to one, an hour for you would be a decade for everyone else, you explain, one hand swirling your drink, the other trailing over the page in discussion. Not wrong. The gravitational pull would warp space-time to that degree. Technically, you could watch the universe age while barely moving a second yourself, Senku adds, chopsticks twirling in the air with thought. Sounds lonely, you murmur. All that knowledge and no one left to share it with. He scoffs. That's only if it hasn't stretched you into a long noodle. The corners of your mouth twitch. Cosmic pasta, you say through a childish grin. Cosmic doom, he corrects, muffled by ramen noodles. Your eyes connect in the shared silence. Soft smiles mirrored. The air seems to narrow between you, filled with nothing but charged atoms and the faint swish of your pages. You rarely get to exchange knowledge with someone like this. Both of your friends are in completely different majors, and you aren't exactly a social butterfly in class. You contribute to astronomy blogs and amateur stargazing forums online, but it doesn't come close to the thrill of real conversation. This is exciting. He bounces through theories like it's just a warm-up exercise. He's even able to branch them into ridiculous pasta puns. There's so much you want to ask, so many orbits you could follow with him. Quantum entanglement, wormholes, or maybe even the terrifying beauty of dying stars. You notice the faint pull of a dimple when his smile deepens. He leans back, chair creaking, light slanting over his sauce-stained lips. Eat before your brain collapses in on itself, he says. All this time you've made him out to be some stoic, robotic genius, to the point where your nervous system spikes at the simple idea of talking to him. The light tap of his finger to your forehead snaps you out of your reverie. Begrudgingly, your hand drags itself to your utensils. You wonder what he'd think about stellar track, also known as traffic space cops, in Amira's words. Would he think measuring the masses of space to map out safety routes is practical? Relevant? Is it even something he'd find interesting? Movements flicker in the corner of your eye, the lazy sway of his loose curls as he glances up again. You flick your eyes up, posture still hunched over and tangled in your multitasking mess. His gaze drags over your face like he's observing a reaction. Patient, curious, and maybe a little too focused. Then you turn away, pretending to read through a paragraph while shoving food into your mouth. It's a mystery as to what he's thinking about, and you don't know him well enough to guess. Heck, All you know is that he majors in all science and does even more science for fun. He's also a fan of ramen, just a theory though. But you studied every single one of his projects. If quizzed, you could list them in order: the carbon skin prototype, the AI assisted mixer, the kinetic footboard that charges devices through motion, and your personal favorite, the resonance engine. A design so intricate it took up an entire notebook of yours. You know his inventions better than his voice. So anything could be running through his mind right now. Biology, chemistry, physics, maybe even mechanics. You open your mouth but pause. He's been the one asking all the questions so far. It's not fair to let him do all the heavy lifting. Another theory? He muses, lifting a mug to his lips. The nervous rhythm of your feet rubbing together shakes the table. You look up at him, lips pursed into a thoughtful pout. Yes and no. Your head dips side to side. The mug thuds as he places it down, and his chest rises with a deep breath. Go for it, he says, resting his chin on his hand. You've done this before, on your very first day of talking to him, so there's no reason for the words to be turning into concrete in your throat. You said you majored in all of science, right? You ask pointedly. Do you have one you prefer? That's a really watered down way of asking what his favorite subject is. Without missing a beat or breaking eye contact, he exhales through his nose, the kind of quiet laugh that makes your chest tickle. Astrophysics, he says. You almost choke on your saliva. He's kidding, right? The words hit harder than it should. Out of all the branches, of all the specializations, he picked yours? The chair shrieks with your sudden jerk forward. Huh? You blurt, eyes wide. What? He drawls. Don't tell me you're shocked we actually have something in common. How had you missed it? 4 years of orbiting the same goal and not once has it clicked. No, that's not right. Judging from the diversity of his projects, the only way someone would know that information is if they knew him personally. You scratch the back of your head sheepishly. To be fair, you don't give away much, says the one who referred to the expanding cosmos as stars and stuff, he replies. You deadpan. You're not gonna let me live anything down, are you? He scrunches his brows with a finger on his chin. Statistically speaking, I'll milk it for a while. That is slander. It's valuable data. He raises a finger into the air, with that smug, comical expression. Valuable data, huh? It's just starting to look like he finds your fumbling funny. Well, it's better than him finding it cringe or childish, but still. You roll your eyes, but the smile doesn't fade. It's almost unsettling how easy it's become to talk to him. Huh. It really is a small world, you mumble, fiddling with the edge of your cup. Small universe, he corrects. You say something, but a loud beep blares through the intercom. A sly voice you know too well. Attention participants! The results of yesterday's challenges will now be displayed. If you will please step forward. Low murmurs echo through the large space. People shift in their seats, heads craning around in anticipation. And just like that, the universe interrupts again. Loud, impersonal, and right when things were starting to get interesting. And that brings us to the end of part 11, titled Table for Two. Make sure to stay tuned because next chapter, things are going to start getting a little bit dicey. Because not only are the results being announced, but we've got some new competition. Well, not new, but competition. Let me not spoil anything. So make sure to get your popcorn ready. And yeah, thank you so much for 100 subscribers, you guys. It means the universe. Excuse the pun. But I hope you are ready for more because I am ready to give you guys more. Thank you and goodbye.